Hello, this is Abraham Joseph Ajenifuja. I've been talking about the Silent Soul Epidemic for a while. And today I want to talk about how it affects leaders and consequently affects the organization and by extension affect the community, the world in a rippling effect. But before I say that, let me say this, that out of the 5 pillars of the society that I've identified as the family, the education, business, religion, and government, the business is where the confluence of all the value systems of other pillars converge. Best, the value system converging all the other single pillars, but it's in the business pillar that family value system, educational value system, religion and spiritual value system, and government value system converge in business. So the business has now become like the new church, where all value system converge and where the business owner has the most opportunity to make the impact in the life of his employees, their family, and by extension, a rippling effect to the community. So the business is a very strong engine of civilization and transformation. So having said that, if we look at the world today, we're going to see pockets of undervalue of businesses. When businesses are operating undervalue, that means that they cannot impact, they cannot create the impact that they're supposed to create to make the world a better place to live. As the organ of transformation and civilization, a business operating under value cannot make the desired impact. And that will happen if the leaders of the business are not fully aligned with their soul innate wisdom. Because leaders have a special place in the order hierarchy of leadership in the world. When we look at God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, the angels, and you can use any hierarchy you want depending on your faith system. But as a Christian, leaders are next in line. In other words, if the world is going to be what it was intended to be, leaders are the ones who are going to make it happen. And leaders in business. But when the leaders are not connected with their soul wisdom, in other words, they have been disconnected from their soul wisdom, they are operating on human intelligence only. That lacks the insight, the authority, the power and authority to lead and deliver to that organization the 3 most important things that's expected of all leaders, which is peace, profit, and prosperity. Those 3-legged stools are the metrics by which leaders are assessed. You can't have one without the other to be a true leader and a successful leader. But when his soul is compromised, especially in high-achieving, high-drive leaders who are so goal-oriented, purpose-driven, but are not operating from their soul intellect, but from the human worldly intellect. It affects the organization as a whole. It affects the direction of the organization. Where are they leading? What is the vision and mission statement of that organization? If the vision is a degree 2 or 3 deviation from the true north, it's going to affect the value building system of the organization. And that's because of one thing. The only one thing that disconnects the leader from their innate wisdom is the silent soul epidemic that besets all humans. And leaders, when they have taken up their title during the day in their homes, among their family, they are just like any other human being, subjected to the silent soul epidemic effects in the way they lead, in the way they make decisions, in the way they make impact and influence. Because what the SSC does is that it cuts off a person from their inner wisdom, and it begins in childhood. It begins in childhood, especially where a child is raised under an adverse childhood experience, which could be a form of moralistic religion ideology, could be that. It could be a rigid, authoritarian helicopter, what they call helicopter parenting. It could be that. That leaves no room for the child to express individual thoughts that can pave way for the child to understand their soul innate wisdom. It begins at home and then is perpetuated in the schools and in other institutions that the person has worked or lived. So this silent soul epidemic then percolates. It percolates and is calcified in the neurobiological pathways of the person's nervous system. It's embedded there, becomes noticeable during adolescence, but if untreated, it is embedded up till adulthood, in career, in business, in marriages, in relationship, and could be triggered easily. Because one of the features of the silent soul epidemic is that the individual is not well differentiated. In other words, an individual who has been brought up in an environment where they can express themselves, they have a fear of expressing themselves. They've been conditioned to that. So they will submit to external demands on their time, energy, and money because they don't have the inner self efficacy, self perpetuating energy. They don't have the self advocacy to push back because of fear of rejection, fear of not being thought of as intellectual. So they keep silent. And that silence trails them all through life. And many people have lived through this life and have never discovered the reason why they have not been able to live up to their potential. They know they could do better, but they have not been able to do that because the soul is held captive by the silent soul epidemic. So For the world to change, leaders, especially in business, will have to be reconciled back to their soul wisdom. There's no other way. If the world continues the way it is right now, there will continually be that gap between the self and the soul wisdom. And all sorts of things will fill that gap. And it's going to affect the leaders' value propositions, decision making, creativity and innovation. And it's going to affect the environment. It's going to affect the employees. It's going to affect the employees' family. It's going to affect everybody. So I'm proposing that leaders, it's time to reckon with the truth that you, as any other human being, is being affected by the silent soul epidemic. It is not easily diagnosable because this epidemic mimics the symptoms of other ailments. So that a leader or a person who goes to the doctor because of insomnia is not really the root cause of sleeplessness. It's a symptom of deeply ingrained discontent, a quiet desperation of leaders that something is missing in their life and they don't know what it is. I'm here to submit to you that what it is a disconnection with your soul wisdom because of the silent soul epidemic. It's very pervasive, it's very insidious, and it's very opportunistic. It can be triggered easily. That's why you find leaders who will suddenly fall from grace. These are leaders who are well known to do things very well, to conduct themselves very well in their personal life and their professional life. But suddenly something happens to them and nobody can figure out why would that happen to that person. That's a trigger effect on the silent soul epidemic. So it is time. It is time to open a new leaf in our leadership. At home, in education, in religion, churches, and in government, but especially in business. Because as I said before, business is where all the value building, treasures of the other pillars converge. The confluence there. So the business is like a new church. To take the organization to have peace, profit, and prosperity. My name is Abraham Joseph Ajenifuja, author of the VIP Christian, VIP standing for Vision, Intent, and Purpose, and also author of the soon-to-be-released book, Boundless. Boundless Living, Breaking Boundaries, Limitless Achievements, Overcoming Obstacles, and Manifesting the Innate Wisdom to make the world a better place. Click below if you want to talk more about the challenges you're having. If anything I've said so far resonates with you and you want to discuss further about how it's affecting your personal relationship or business, click the link below. Let's have a chat about what you are going through. And I can show you the proprietary system that I've created that can take you from one step of where you are right now to where you really want to be. Hope to see you soon. Thank you.